Hello and welcome back to Kings at the Table, where culture meets conviction. This is a convening of Black and brown men to talk about the issues that are currently impacting our world. We're going to introduce this panel after we go through our very first round of discussion. We're going to just jump right into it because we have a lot to talk about today in this episode, starting off first and foremost with matters of the crown. That's where we talk about the issues that are having the greatest impact on our world and on our communities, Black, brown, and queer communities. We're starting off, gentlemen, with the spread of hate in America. Racism is no longer just hiding in the shadows. We're going to talk about a Cinnabon employee, Crystal Wilsley, who was fired for verbally assaulting a Somali couple in a Cinnabon. And she was fired, but she has actually now gone on to crowdfund money on, I think the platform is GoFundMe. I'm going to start off first and foremost with Cedric. Okay, and this is my question to you. Hate in America is spreading. And while the impact is more division, more harm, the consequences when we look at how much money this woman was able to crowdfund are becoming less. Like, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that the crowdfunding is becoming less in response to
hate is becoming more, but the consequences are becoming less? More hate, less consequence.
I think it's an evident answer. I mean, it's the administration. I think since Trump has taken office, and I think his first term was, a prime example of this. Since he's taken office, the increase in hate crimes and Islamophobia and homophobia and racism just in general has just skyrocketed. And I think it is a direct impact from the hate that he spews from the White House. I think that he has created an environment for people to feel really comfortable at saying hateful things and putting out hateful rhetoric, not only into the world and in public interactions, but also on social media as well. And so, yeah, I mean, I really do believe that it's a direct impact of the administration. I don't think we saw this during, and granted, these were extremely different times, but I don't think we saw this during the Obama administration, not to this capacity, right? I don't know that we even saw it while Biden and Kamala were in office.
I've never seen it in my life. I've never seen this level of hate grow with the intensity of hate being so public. This woman was literally
you've lived
filmed.
a long life. If you ain't seen it, then what does that say?
She literally was filmed. Yes, in his whole full life, etc. She was literally, she knew she was being filmed, and she still didn't back down. That is.
Well, I don't think that people are afraid about being filmed anymore, because I think for every type of person, there's an audience. So for every person that commits a hate crime, there's an audience. For every person who believes in the people and wants to spread positivity, there's an audience. I don't think that anybody's afraid of a camera anymore, including the police.
John, what are your thoughts on this one?
I don't think that America...
Jay the gentleman, I'm sorry.
I don't think that America is any more or less racist than it has been in previous years. I think that now like you were saying, Cedric, there's an audience for the kind of racism that has always existed. It's very unique because my family is East African. Somalia is East Africa. And I have in my life experienced many people who told me to go back to where I came from, who remarked about my last name or my father's accent, or when we speak a different language. The hate has always been in our culture, in our society. It's just now, because of the proliferation of this hate and normalization, because of the administration, because of social media, because of all the things, people just are a lot more emboldened to share the same views that they've always had. People have hated people since the beginning of time, since the beginning of whiteness, at least. And I think that it's just now come to a fevered pitch.
So I'm going to go to Jay Malik in a moment, and I'm going to specifically ask you about what level of accountability should be had by Cinnabon, the employer, from a corporate perspective. But before I do that, I do want to dig a little bit more into your background and where you're saying that you yourself, your family comes from East Africa. This, seeing this, how did it make you feel with family members and roots and ties to East Africa? On a personal note.
I mean, on a personal level, I've always had concern with the Trump administration, even the first Trump administration, because of his because like I was saying about how people are just a lot more bold with how they express their ideologies. Like I said, my father has a very strong accent. He speaks many languages. I speak a different language when I talk to him, and I get nervous for him walking up and down the street speaking Swahili, because a lot of time, because I've always heard, go back to where you came from, but now people are actually being sent to countries that they do not belong to because ICE is everywhere and all the things. And so just I'm a little more cynical that, hate has existed in our culture, in our society. I believe that Americans, however you define that, don't really care for people from other cultures, other countries. And I think all of these, so many are just examples of kind of the animosity that has always persisted in this country.
I'm going to just briefly interject and say, to a certain extent I agree, but to a certain extent I don't. Here's some historical context in that. I feel as though the hate has become way more emboldened. I do think it's more. I absolutely think it's more. I believe that there is a strong alt-right pipeline that exists that once was in the dark corners, hidden away, that is working overtime to prey on the vulnerable minds of people who have been cast to the side and who do not fit in and who are not given community. And I think that is their stronghold, is because they're giving them community. Specifically, and I'll just name it, there are young white men in America who do not fit in and belong to any particular community. Mm-hmm. They don't feel comfortable in a lot of places. When you are a Black person and you don't fit into the community always finds a way to embrace you. That's the power of the village. And it doesn't matter if you were born here, it doesn't matter if you came here, Black people are going to embrace you. They may make fun of you, because I got made fun of plenty, but the community and the village will still find a way to put you in. And I don't think that these young white men had that, and they're sadly finding it in the alt-right pipeline that's emphasizing racism, that's emphasizing Nazi beliefs, that's emphasizing misogyny, and a whole lot of other things that ultimately result in hate. And I think it's more now, because it used to be hidden away. It used to be covered in a hood. It used to be a shameful thing to be racist. It was a shameful thing to be a Nazi. It was a shameful thing to have these beliefs, but now people are proud of it.
I agree with everything you said, but I think it is a little bigger, because the notion of whiteness is without community. Black, brown, of all shades, we find ways, like that's the reason why there is a Chinatown. That's the reason why, there's Pakistani Indian Americans that have figured out a way to turn a neighborhood into their own space where they can be comfortable. The idea of whiteness exists to steal, kill, and destroy. And I truly believe that with all of my being. And I think that because white people do not have a sense of common understanding about anything, whiteness does not allow themselves to be in connection closely with anybody. So then what they end up creating connections based on the least common denominator. And when you don't stand for anything, it's easy to be sucked into this vacuum of just hating everything. And I don't know that it's the reason why we can say Black is beautiful, and I can have love for Black people that does not demonize anybody else. But you say you love white people, and all of a sudden you are casting out everybody else, because whiteness, not necessarily white people, but whiteness and white privilege has no community. It has no power. It has no place. And so they are constantly finding ways to create space by stealing it from others. And I think this issue with demonizing Somali Americans is very similar to how they demonize Haitian Americans, saying they were eating the dogs, how they demonize Mexican Americans, saying that they are in, all shithole countries, and all the things that whiteness has said about brown and Black people of people of color in this country.
And that's something we'll come back to, because my question is going to be to you instead. How do you combat it? How do you fix it? What can we do to fight against this and fix it? But Jamie, what about the accountability? What role does Cinnabon play in this?
I think to an extent they can't control the actions of the employee, but there is a notion of corporate social responsibility. And I think with that, corporations have an obligation to stand out against other entities that are allowing her to gain wealth from a situation that's derogatory. So I think Cinnabon should speak out against GoFundMe. They should have stricter, tighter guidelines or rules on what they allow people to raise money from. And that's pretty much the extent. Beyond that,
So like GoFundMe should have a level of corporate responsibility to not
Correct.
allow or platform this type of
Absolutely.
behavior.
Absolutely.
And then Cinnabon should speak out against it to discourage people from supporting it.
Absolutely, because they've taken the extent of action, perhaps, right? Maybe a lawsuit or something of the like could be involved. But beyond that, their responsibility is to create a safe space for their customers and for their employees. And through terminating it, the employee, not it, I think
it is appropriate.
I think it's an appropriate step and the best step in the case.
And the best step. So, gentlemen, how do we fix this? How do we combat this spread of hate, the sense of or a lack of community? How do we make safe spaces for people, and specifically, how do we build and create more allies? Because we can't. And let me say it to explain it, because there are people who are going to watch this and they're going to scrutinize my comments and say that I'm making excuses for a certain kind of behavior. And it's not that I'm making excuses, but we need solutions. We need solutions to this. Mm-hmm. And I'm Black, and I don't benefit from racism, nor do I perpetuate it. So therefore, I'm not able to stop it or truly combat it. The only people that are going to be able to end racism are those who benefit from it and those who perpetuate it. And so that's white people. And in order to fix the problem, we've got to get allies who are equipped and prepared to fight. How do we do that?
I think at its core, racism is an economic issue, right? It's an economic term. So the only way to do it is to hit them where they hurt, where it hurts, and then create allies around those issues. We've seen that with Target. The only way to...
Oh, so you believe in boycotts?
I do.
Oh.
Don't start. But the only way to evoke conversation with the CEO of Target at the time was because of the economic or the financial impacts that boycotting caused. And if we are to make shifts and waves in it, we need to come together and formulate groups and associations and allies and missions that have clear linkages to the financial impact.
Yeah, it's one thing that I don't know if people know this, but in researching Crystal Willisley, it was revealed that she has Black children.
Really? That's odd.
That is very odd.
She has 2 young Black children. I know one of them was a little boy, maybe 2. And so, what do you say to that? Like,
Well, I think it will present a larger conversation. I think that with these younger generations, right, when we talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, we're seeing an upheaval of interracial relationships. And I do think that when you are a part of an interracial relationship, specifically from the perspective of whiteness, you tend to, or what we've seen is that there's a tendency on both sides, right? Whether it's being white or Black or whatever the opposing cultures are, you tend to assimilate in some way. Unfortunately, for some of those who are in relationships with African Americans, they feel comfortable with adapting some of the language that we use within our communities, such as the N-word or things of that nature, which is completely inappropriate. And so I think that it will push us into having a larger conversation.
Now, Crystal, you did not use the N-word in the way that Black people use the
N-word.
N-word.
I know she did it, but
it was a slur.
Yes, exactly. But that's there in and of itself is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Is that
the comfortability gave way to her using it that way.
The comfortability gave way to
Yes, that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
Yes, they feel empowered, and so it's gonna present a larger conversation of if we are moving into this space, right? And we are where no one will be proportionally right. The white people won't be the dominant race, right? And as we move into that, and that becomes a reality, what does race relations now look like, right, as things like this come up? And I think that's something that we're not really thinking about because we haven't had to have that conversation because, quite frankly, interracial relationships, although present, have not always been the majority.
The majority. So, Everybody, that is Candidly Said. He is a lifestyle influencer and content creator based in Atlanta, and we're so happy that he's able to join us for episode 2 of Keys the Table at the Table. And joining him right beside me is the prolific Jay the Gentleman, who is the podcast host and streamer of Dear Black Gay Men. Huge platform, has grown significantly, and we're so happy and so thankful to have you and the multiple perspectives that you bring to the table. I got to go back in a moment back to Somali, because that it's not a part of the talking points, but I got to take advantage of the talent I have. And rounding out, we have Jay Malik, who is a content creator based also in Atlanta. His content focuses on finance and corporate life and corporate living, and how you can thrive in corporate spaces, even though that may not be something that is germane to you. And joining us shortly will be Sir Ken Coleman, Atlanta personality and serial entrepreneur. He's running a little bit behind. Now, Jay the Gentleman, you talk about, your background and having family from East Africa. One thing, and I know in researching what's happening in Minnesota with ICE raids and the ongoing assault against our migrants and people who are there by the Trump administration, we saw that there were a huge portion of Somali citizens who voted for and supported Trump very heavily. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of videos of people there saying that they are not Black. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? And how should Black people in America feel about that? Like, should we embrace and wrap our arms around the Somali community from your perspective? Because I'll give you mine afterwards.
Who is we?
Black people in America.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant Americans in general or
Black people
Black
in America. Because it's a real dividing issue right now in the Black community, where you have Black Americans who are saying, I am not supporting and caring about it was at first, of course, our Arab brothers and sisters in Dearborn, because they fought so hard for Donald Trump to be Kamala. But now we're seeing what I see as Black people in Minnesota, who also supported Trump. He didn't win the state, but many of them did support Trump. They have videos where their leaders are fighting for Trump, and now they're under siege. Mm-hmm. And they would benefit, I think, from Black activism.
Mm-hmm. I have, my whole life, have seen a divide between my Black American side, because my mother is from Georgia, and my African side, because my father is from Kenya. I have always known that Black people in America have a issue with Africans, and in my case, Kenyans, because of whatever the reason is.
What do you think the reason is?
I could unpack it. Sure.
Can we call it ignorance? I can say it's ignorance.
I wouldn't blanketly say it's
xenophobia.
Ignorance. I would say that it's Black American is a identity all by itself. And I can only say that because I see what my mother's side of the family looks like versus my father's. Just like Kenyan is an identity all by itself. And I don't fault any Black American for believing that Blackness and the way that this been handed down after so many generations from the period of enslavement all the way to today is right or wrong, because I have to embrace both halves of my life. So I don't fault Americans, Black Americans, for having a division from people who are much more closely linked to Africa. That is not a problem to me. I do think, though, that the problem comes up when greater society doesn't look at me, my dad, and my mom and see three different versions of something. They see three Black people. Mm-hmm. And we as Black, whether you are African or Black American, end up shooting ourselves in the foot when we create these divisions among us when our oppressors do not. Our oppressors are going to oppress all of us equally, whether you are Somali with curly hair or Kenyan with 4C hair or South African with fair skin or whatever the case may be. They all see Black folks. And we are creating a disservice to ourselves by separating this kind of Black versus that kind of Black. We did that with colorism. We did that from a whole bunch of things. And it all stems from the period of enslavement because, house niggas and field niggas and all the things. And so I think that African is just another iteration of that. And the unfortunate part about that is a lot of Africans who do not have, lineage that goes back to the period of enslavement, goes back to sharecroppers and cotton pickers, we get desensitized to the fact that we are Black.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's some cultural dissonance on both sides of the spectrum, but I don't think that it does any of us a service to assume that one kind of Black is different than another. The oppressor sees us all as Black.
I could have said it better myself. In addition to the oppression of Black people in our country, we've seen throughout the course of 2025, and actually before, a hardcore press against members of the LGBTQIA plus community. And this past week, we saw the Department of Health and Human Services take away the name of Admiral Rachel Levine, the first openly transgender federal health official confirmed by the Senate, and replaced it with her previous name, or what we identify as her dead name. This was a shocking move. Admiral Levine was appointed by President Biden, was the first transgender person appointed to such a high office in history. And this is a bold step to erase that history. And so I just want to know from you guys, kind of, especially Jay, from you, as a gay rights advocate, someone who, again, has built an amazing platform fighting and advocating for gay rights in this country, what do you say to this? And what can we do about it?
I think that people are way too caught up in minutia and all of the, like, one thing that I don't want to say applaud the Trump administration, but one thing that them folks can do is keep us swatting at flies instead of dealing with the bigger issue. And I think Steve Bannon was one of the people that said they're going to do everything everywhere all at once. And this is just another component of that. Now, what I do believe, though, while I am not a person of trans experience, while I do not understand or know what it's like to be trans in America, I know it's a tough road to hoe. It is a tough road to hoe to change your names and documentation legally. It's a tough road to hoe to define yourself on your own terms. It's a tough road to hoe to be something outside of, the cisgender binary norms that we know in this country. And so to revert back to anybody's dead name, understanding who they are and identify as today is unfortunate. It is horrible. It is horrendous. But also it is a red herring in this case, because we've got so many issues happening in this country that need our desperate attention. Yeah. And the unfortunate part about how this administration is moving is they want to keep us focused on so many things at once that we can't give any concerted effort to combating any problem. And so it's like, I feel for the people of trans experience all the time. And also I'm trying to figure out how I can do that, how I can empathize with this person's journey, this person's battle, but also keep my eye on the bigger picture. And unfortunately, the way this administration is set up is really difficult for any of us to keep first things first. Yeah. Because there's so many unique problems that are coming out of how this administration is moving.
I think you hit the nail on the head, but I think there's an element of focus there where anything LGBTQIA related goes on to expose what's happening in their own bedrooms. And so they want to brush it under the rug and to just get it out of the limelight as soon.
Expand
they on Grindr.
That. Expand on
That's
that.
What I mean.
When you say what's happening in their bedrooms,
they're
saying about people in the Trump administration, elected Republican officials.
Correct.
And you're saying that they are playing around on Grindr, as we saw at the RNC when it crashed.
That's exactly what
you
I'm
sure
saying.
do say
they are dabbling. And so in order to not be held to account for what they're doing, that they're so morally, ethically, religiously opposed to, they want to act in the erasure of anyone who is of the queer community, to put it simply.
I think it's wholly just fear-based. I think all of it is to invoke fear, the attempt to silence people. I think we've all felt it in different ways. And I think that the overall goal is to make people so scared that they don't feel comfortable enough in being any version of themselves, whether that's Black, gay, trans, Asian, or anything outside of whiteness. And I really do feel like the only way to combat it is to lean into the communities that you're a part of and strengthen the foundation of those communities. The unfortunate thing, though, is that I think that we allow the noise to deter us from doing that and ultimately pit us against each other in some roundabout way. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, I think it always ends up coming back to us entertaining nonsense within our own communities that then take us further back.
Yeah.
So my only concern is when I look at, our ancestors and when I look at those who have come before us and their ability to come together, under one singular thought, despite personal differences, I wonder if we will have the tenacity and the courage and the maturity to be able to do that in a world that has so many distractions, right? Because they didn't have that in the way that we do. I mean, we're all connected to opinions and voices every single day, experiencing 10 different emotions within a single, 5-minute period. Yeah. So that's my overall concern.
Are we going to meet the moment? Are you people made to meet this moment? Because I know I am.
Believe that we will.
Because as Cedric said earlier in the show, I'm a little older.
You are.
I don't look it.
You don't.
But I may be a little bit. A couple years.
You look youthful.
Just
a couple years.
I'm 43
today. Will your generation meet this moment?
Yeah, I just turned 43.
I don't know. It's something that keeps me up at night. In all seriousness.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's a generational thing. And that's another divide that is so unnecessary.
That they do.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I think it needs to be based on a cause and a mission. It has to supersede anything that divides us.
But when you look at data, you can literally see the impact of the 2024 election and how demographic data indicated that different age groups of Black people voted different. And what motivated them and what moved them. And so that's what I'm saying. Literally right now, we saw today the announcement, on yesterday, the announcement, we talked about it last week, of Representative Jasmine Crockett running for the Senate. Yes. And immediately you saw online a massive movement of people attacking her. And I've seen a number of Black people attacking her on things that aren't even true, saying that she took money from, lobbying group AIPAC, which she's never taken any AIPAC funds. And so I said to say, there's a generation of young people, Black young people, that are highly influenced by social media and the mis and disinformation proliferated on that platform. If we can't even be held account to fact check, how in the world are we going to be held account to be self-sustaining and in community and be able to truly come together to fight against what is yet to come? Because I firmly believe that the worst is yet to come. We're in year one of the Trump administration.
I agree wholeheartedly with you, and I think that is a valid. I think that is a valid question of what does that look like, right? And how do we do that? And the answer is we don't fucking know.
We don't know. We just have beliefs. I want to say and kind of go back to the beginning is that I do believe that this is more than a red herring. I believe it's more than a red herring because it's all a part of a united plan to erase history and people. Because it is not for us. It's not meant to hurt us. It's not meant to take us out. It's meant to take out future generations. It's meant to send a message to that trans person who has yet to realize they're trans or have the language to articulate that I'm trans. They know that they're it, but they know inside something is there, something isn't right, something doesn't fit, to never accept and embrace who they really are. Okay. When you look at Admiral Rachel Levine's life, this is someone who served in the military. Like, can you imagine the level of homophobia, transphobia that she experienced in the United States military? But then to be able to climb the ranks and become an admiral, and then to be appointed as over the entire Secretary of Health and Human Services. Like, this is a life of accomplishment. This is someone who does stand as a true icon to everybody in the who identifies as LGBTQIA+. And this administration, with this action, means to erase her and say that all of these accomplishments mean nothing, that all she's overcome means nothing, and it doesn't mean nothing just for her, but it means nothing for everybody in this community. And it's a microaggression, it's a macroaggression because it's the highest level. But not only are they erasing Admiral Levine, they are taking away the ability of parks to give recognition to Juneteenth and MLK Day. We found out this week that the Trump administration was going to revoke free entry on national holidays to people for those two holidays, but you can go free on Trump's birthday. So we're not going to recognize at national parks
Just June 14th.
MLK or Juneteenth, but we are not going to recognize Trump's birthday. Now, what do you think about this act of erasure?
Well, it's just rooted in Trump's ego. I mean, as everything in his whole entire life. So I think it's not a shock. I don't really know what to say to it beyond what. I'm not surprised, right?
I think Trump just wants to politicize every part of our human experience.
Yeah.
Whether it's a damn national park, sorry, I can't curse. Whether it's a national park or or cell phones or going to the grocery store or buying gas, everything, right? Everything has to be politicized and made into a moment that directs back to the hateful rhetoric that he's putting out into the world. You know, and I think it's part of the agenda and the plan. You know what I mean? So I don't even know what to say about it other than, of course,
it's just a money play.
Yeah.
He knows how to invoke the emotions of his supporters so he can make more money.
To make more money.
That's it.
I think that the unfortunate part about this whole dialogue is what you said, how you're not surprised. I think the next X number of months, weeks, years is going to be filled with things that are just not surprising, but are really surprising.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate truth is so many of us are of the same mind that we are just numb to all the craziness that goes on politically right now. And then what happens is, like I said, you just listed several headlines about Juneteenth, MLK, Trump's birthday, national parks, Cinnabon. All these things are distracting from actual policy issues that are being raised to not just erase this particular person like the Admiral, or not just erase, Juneteenth or MLK birthday, like erasing people. ICE is in the streets and across this country detaining American citizens without due process. Prices for everything are up, even though the administration is saying that they are not. People are losing jobs and losing lives and losing livelihood on the back of all of this. And what happens is the administration continues to exacerbate these ideals around, well, we're going to have national parks open for Trump's birthday, but not for MLK, so that we can talk about it and distract from the other, the actual destruction that is happening in this country. And the unfortunate part about it is, like you said, and that hurt a little bit, is we're barely a year into this.
We're not even a year.
Not even a year.
Yeah.
well, it's about whose history counts. And clearly, it's not ours.
But that's our fault.
Yeah.
We contributed to us getting here. We contributed, I tell people all
Who
the
is
time,
we?
every single American, regardless of who you are and where you come from.
Why do you put the onus on every American?
We're a democracy. We rise together, we fall together. That's the way democracy works. Like, it's not, you don't have that choice in democracy to put the blame on other people, although people do it every day. So, I talk to people who say that, they're being affected negatively by Trump policy. Well, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? Where were you? Were you in those streets? Were you fighting hard for Kamala? Were you making videos? Were you repost? What were you doing? What were you doing? Tell me, help me understand. Because I know what I was doing. And I still say, despite what I was doing, I'm an American.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the democracy. It's also, the onus belongs to me too.
I think that discourse is only problematic in the sense that it disproportionately takes the effort away from a forward look. We need to be focused on midterms and any other election where we can grab some control back. And this is coming from someone who is more moderate, right? But in these
Very
days,
moderate.
No. In these days, I'm very not
Very
moderate. I'm
moderate.
very democratic.
It's
but
unfortunate that those two things have to be at odds.
Right?
Being democratic and being moderate.
well, it hasn't been. I've been primarily
Today, I would
Well,
argue
yeah,
that they
in
probably
this
are at odds.
climate, 1,000%. Very, very clear contention, right? Because he always jokes on me. It's a joke, I don't take it seriously, but it's also the sense of if you have any leaning toward Trump or his ideals as a black person, for the most part, you're immediately disparaged. Although I've never, I've never voted for Trump. Like of all the times.
I know. You're making such a good point.
Because God don't want you to say it.
No, I've never supported
I'm
or
joking.
voted for
Never
Trump,
voted
but
for Trump. I didn't hear it.
Never voted for Trump.
But ultimately, it's just that because we're so focused on, the point I was making is because we're so focused on how we did or didn't show up for Kamala, which wasn't great, I don't hear anything about what's next.
About thinking moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I talk
that's
about it
what
every
we
day. I
need
talk
to
about it
focus
every
on.
day. I
That's
make
a
videos
great
about
great
it.
corporate point. Yes.
I make videos about it every day, about what comes next, what we do moving forward, how we fight back, where we need to go.
We'll make them louder.
But you can't. That's a part of the problem.
Just kidding, bro.
It's not about me making it louder. It's about you amplifying it. Do your part. Share it. Repost. When you see these videos, you see this content, share it. Repost it. Send it out there. You know what to do to boost shit in the algorithm. I be saying your shit. You be dressing in this shit. Get ready with me.
Oh, we can curse.
So, hell, get undressed in that
Get
bed and
undressed.
share my shit.
See?
That is...
Hold up.
That's the
I do support your content.
I'm just saying. I
but
don't
you're
see
not
it.
always in my algorithm.
Sit your ass down and search for me. You know the damn name.
I do know for you.
I don't see it. I look at who reposts my
Oh,
shit.
girl,
I be
please.
looking at it
You're
and
so
I don't
big
see it.
Impressed.
But that's what it
To
takes.
me.
That is what honest. You big. You see how big? Big breast and big. But it is what is real. And so, with that though, because this is what I talk about. We're talking about, kind of what's in, what's out, and what's going viral. We're ready to go into the royalty where we talk about things that are more pop related, maybe a little bit more entertaining for some members of our audience. It's on Netflix, the Diddy documentary.
Did you watch it?
I have not watched
So
it.
good.
We're gonna do.
phenomenal.
We're doing a deep dive into the Diddy documentary on next week with a pop culture expert on that who will be joining us on the show to talk about Diddy. So I haven't watched it, but I will watch it by next week. But what I have seen is Clayton Howard, who is one of the alleged claimed victims.
Okay.
You can call him an escort. I call him a victim.
Okay.
I think he was where they were collecting sperm. I don't know.
Oh my.
But
That's what he said on the documentary.
he said on the documentary that they were sperm collectors, and we're not talking about the whales. We're talking about the semen. And he is suing Cassie Ventura. And I want to know, what are your thoughts around that? I feel like how can you sue Cassie? How can you sue the victim or a fellow victim? Is this fair?
Because there was a period where Cassie was complicit.
But
And
how was she complicit?
because
Now, I
she
haven't watched it, but-
arranged,
It's explained in the
she
documentary.
arranged,
She was an
and
active
executed
organizer. Yes.
the acts that this gentleman
She was
a part
searching
of.
for the sperm.
I don't know if she had a one of those Thanksgiving
Well,
things,
his
but
a turkey baster?
a turkey baster.
Yes.
his claim
But-
was that she was allegedly the mastermind of the freak-offs.
And then that Diddy was sitting in the corner watching the
Orchestrating.
But what if
the
she
acts.
was being forced to do that?
She
you know what I'm
probably
saying?
was.
Maybe Diddy was forcing her
process. She probably
to
was
be the head hunter.
She probably was
That doesn't
coerced into
remove
the process.
The
but-
force doesn't remove the act.
Does
That-
it not?
But
No, it
while
doesn't.
while Clayton Howard is sitting there, he doesn't see the coercion. He sees Cassie orchestrating, and that is what he's alleging in his lawsuit.
Well, and the thing is she's been victimized, right? So can she now be the perpetrator? It's
That's my
it's like it's a blurred line, and the answer is yes, she can.
But I think there are two. I think those are two. I agree with you, but I also think that those are two unrelated things. Cassie can be the victim from one person and the perpetrator to another. Those don't. They don't have to be
1000%.
connected.
And if you look right, if you read research, and I've talked about this on my podcast in previous years, but if you look at
The one I didn't get invited to.
He's coming for you.
I mean, everybody's been on that podcast with me, but
not everybody.
I haven't.
Yeah, right. We are.
Our original point was that there is a link between, those who are victims of sexual assault or victims of, being sexually forced or whatever however you want to categorize it, right? Or sexually abused, and then turning around and doing the same, being the abusers to others, right? Yeah. So there is a link between that. That's not anything that's completely unheard of.
Right.
So
Hurt people.
Right. It's the old saying. So, I don't think it's far out. If you followed the Diddy case and you listened, and read the documents and listened to a lot of the, a lot of the reports that came out of that case, you would understand why it is so believable that Cassie did play a bigger role than just being the victim. Now, I do want to notate that I am in full support of Cassie, and I do not think that Cassie, is evil in this situation or in any. I think Cassie was a young woman at the tender age of 19 years old that was groomed to become that she was with Diddy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't think that she had a say in who she became and the things that she was forced to do sexually. And I think, like any sickness, it took over her life, and it became a means of survival that she became a freak.
But also, let's just be clear, Clayton Howard was compensated for the role he played in all of these things.
And he was a repeated.
So when you say he was, what do you mean he was compensated?
He was repeatedly.
Sex work is work.
Yes.
But he
and
was
no one's
paid
shaming him
for
for
what
that.
he did during the freak offs.
Yeah.
He was compensated for his time and his talent
And he let them take his
during
time.
these freak offs. And on top of that, in this documentary, he said he let them take the semen. He noticed people taking his semen. And then eventually, after several times, he was like, "What are y'all doing with it?" And that's when they stopped. His words.
And I just want to know too.
What he said that I thought he said allegedly that he liked to watch her drink it.
I don't remember that, but I do
Yes,
remember
I did.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
I mean,
And we're gonna go deep. We're gonna do a deep dive into the case of the semen collection. What happened to it? Everything in the documentary next week. What we're gonna do a deep dive into right now is Jermaine Jackson's hair.
Oh, child, please.
So this week,
girl, I know you went to my time
Jermaine
talking about
Jackson's
this.
hair went viral. We've all seen it. You've all seen it. Like, it's not like it's brand new. This painting of the hair is not new. But for some reason, this week it just catapulted.
It's an interesting choice of words.
That time that Simone was on the Don Lemon show, and she said, and they wanted to talk about Omarosa, and she was like, "Now, Don, we did not come during Black History Month to talk about Omarosa." Now, Zach,
this man,
we did not we did not come all the way to the south side of Atlanta.
To the Atlanta Voice. The Atlanta Voice podcast
studio to talk about Jermaine Jackson's damn hair. But if you like,
I just want to know what your thoughts are on it.
What my thoughts are about
we are four kings at the
I think
table.
I think he looks a mess, but I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, what he eat doesn't make me.
He look like damn alfalfa.
Use the restroom.
he does look a mess.
I mean, when you look at us at one collective, you see, again, four
Don't collect dust in there.
We have four different crowns on our head. But again, people will do different things to maintain or have a certain look. Like,
But the irony is about all of that is now, and again, I probably get a whole lot of hate for this, but there's only one or two Jacksons that I'm like, they look good.
We should be talking about the picture Latoya posted.
She looking like a toothpick.
Go and hide.
Big head.
Go and hide, looking like Casper the Ghost.
If Latoya turns to the side, she's gonna disappear.
I mean,
She
what
did
Jackson-
disappear. She said she had that
She
picture with a profile.
she is remarkably thin, and it is concerning.
She is remarkably thin in recent videos.
It's concerning.
But
Just like that hair, or
think
lack
that-
thereof, was on Jermaine's
I
damn
give you
head.
credit. I think that Jermaine's hair is remarkably
Sad.
lacquered. I think that Latoya's remarkably
many
thin.
fibers.
I think that Janet is remarkably stupid.
I know you
So I think that all three of them, there's a whole spray. And you probably said, why would he call Janet stupid? She said Kamala wasn't black and she didn't retract it. So until she does that, she'll be very low in my book. But okay,
I'm so
we
glad
won't,
Tyler
we
Perry done
won't
put her in
spend
that
too
movie.
much time on the Jacksons because I don't want to. Somebody's gonna sit in mad here because they love Janet. I know y'all love the hell out of Janet.
I love Janet.
I love Janet.
Of course,
She just had a
Of
Freudian
course you-
slip.
of course you
She
do.
had a Freudian slip.
She doubled down on it. She fired her assistant who tried to clean it up.
Oh.
I do not like the Golden Globes or any awards, period, that seek out white validation from an audience. But I know that you do. Not you specifically, but I know that the people watching and the people love these awards and shit. So we got to talk about at least somewhat Sinners getting 7 nominations for Golden Globes and possibly on its way to an Oscar. Is this film Oscar worthy? And are we proud of this and what it did for the culture?
So
More about Sinners in the Golden Globes, but
I didn't watch the film. I don't watch things like that for my spiritually. I can't watch stuff like that. I don't allow stuff like that to play in my house. All that like evil, demonic, villain, vampire stuff. That ain't my juice.
I am typically the same way.
Yeah.
Because your eyes and ears are gates.
Yes.
But I did watch it and I fasted afterwards. But what I will say is that the social impact of the film was very evident. You can't debate it, you can't
It's
argue.
true.
it was huge in the culture.
everywhere.
It was a
Yeah.
huge
It not
cultural
o-
impact.
It not only garnered a lot of support, it created a lot of debate, and that's what good films do, right? They make you think critically about how the actor did or didn't show up. Like we still are mad at Mike for making Sheila drive up the mountain, right? So at the end of the day, when you think about
The
impact,
fact that I know that reference, it proves your point. Got it.
so when it has lasting impact, it should win. We know that the Golden Globes, Oscars, or really most of them don't have a great track record of recognizing black lead talent, but hopefully they will figure it out and do it right.
I think I'm more so interested in what does it mean in Hollywood that these stories, are being valued like Sinners. I feel like every few years we go through this like praise of black stories and black narratives being portrayed.
But it's not
The
because of
last one was-
Hollywood. Hollywood is not. I want to. Hollywood
But that's
isn't
what
valuing
I'm.
it.
But
We valued it and
fundamentally
we forced
disagree.
it to the top, right?
no, I think Hollywood values it because
No.
it brings in dollars.
It didn't.
It-
This film I remember specifically when the film came out, how there wasn't a lot of press and push around it, but black people propelled it forward.
That's
We
what I'm
supported
saying.
it, but Hollywood
We have
didn't.
economic value.
I don't think we should give any of the credit to Hollywood when the Hollywood machine never supports Ryan Coogler in his films at a large rate.
Okay,
But the
yes,
culture
yes.
does, and because
It's like
of
the
the
Tyler
cultural
Perry effect.
impact, we make them do it.
I mean, that's what I call it. The
think
Tyler Perry effect.
Right.
Where black people come in large numbers to support, and then now it's number one, and now it's breaking records.
The
and all
extent of
that stuff.
Hollywood's support is that these are their practices anyway that they've stolen from many
A
many
history
people.
of thievery.
And so they practice it. They just want to keep it a closed practice to them.
I am not going to be surprised when Sinners doesn't win anything
Mm-hmm.
because
Or disappointed.
and I will not be
Right.
disappointed.
That's why I don't care about these awards.
because like you said, Ryan Coogler, Black Panther 2 was $1 billion film. Black Panther 1 was $1 billion film. Angela Bassett was still snubbed for her role in both of them. I think that the black machine creates a lot of economic prosperity for certain people, but it does not create accolades, nor am I interested in it. I mean, I know that in Hollywood, it means something to be Oscar nominated. It means it's something to them to be, Golden Globe nominated or a winner or whatever. But Ryan Coogler is Ryan Coogler, Jordan Peele is Jordan Peele, Angela Bassett is Angela Bassett, and we still know what's love got to do with it. We still know that she was Joe Jackson's wife. We still know we know these people, and we support them how we can. But I don't know that translates to Hollywood, nor do I care.
Nor do you care.
Yeah.
So
I just watch it for the gowns.
well, let's
Beautiful gown.
Yeah,
Great
we go
gown.
for the beautiful gown. We go from the royalty to the crowning moment of the week. And Jay actually hit on the crowning moment earlier in the show when he talked about and brought up Target and the Target boycott. I've been waiting with bated breath to see how effective boycott efforts were, especially after last week and finding out that some kings at the table didn't boycott. And I want to say, and I'm proud to say, that Target is still failing miserably. Miserably. Store traffic at Target on Black Friday was essentially flat compared to traffic from 2024. They did increase. By contrast, Walmart's store traffic went up by 2%, and Costco, a true ally that never chose to abandon their DEI efforts, actually jumped by 8%, suggesting that Target's underperformed key rivals on the biggest retail day of the year, in large part because of the ongoing boycott that we have called for and that we're still calling. This, to me, is indeed a crowning moment. Natasha Brown, Pastor Jamal Bryant, everyone who organized with the We Ain't Buying movement and the Blackout movement, all these people their work paid off and it's still going strong. What do you think about this crowning moment? Is this a crowning moment, or am I?
What I will say, in the face of what we mentioned earlier, where we don't know how we will unite, it does give a glimmer of hope in the sense of how we can make economic waves and impact. I mean, stock value, the CEO resigning, all kinds of things happen as a result of it. But in terms,
the CEO still on the board?
CEO is still on the board, still making the check.
Essentially,
He just moved from one role to another.
went from a full-time job to a part-time job that meets every quarter and pays probably very well. So I get it, but losing the demonstration has some value to the reader. Most people aren't concerned with a board or really even understand it. Mm-hmm. So to the point of the optic, there's some hope there. Otherwise, is it a crowning moment? Does that make it a crowning moment? I guess so. I think I would say yes, because we do need to find ways to fight back against corporate powers and corporate mega corporations that are controlling our daily lives. So yeah.
Cedric, are you boycotting Target? Or just be honest. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Why are you asking me that?
Because I want to know.
You want to know if I'm boycotting Target or if I currently am? What's the question?
That's the question.
Are you boycotting Target?
Currently?
Currently boycotting Target.
This man was
When's the last time you went to Target?
Probably about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, probably about 3 weeks ago.
What did you buy? What is at Target that you can't get from a competitor?
Tabitha Brown's hair products. I couldn't get them fast enough, and I needed to go.
You can order them online.
I could have, but it wasn't going to be here. I needed to do my hair. I had to go to work. I didn't want to go looking like a damn Sasquatch.
That's actually representative of a dilemma for some consumers.
It is for me. I mean, here's why I am conflicted with it. Because oftentimes when I go to Target, seriously, hand to God, I only shop for those Black products. Like I'm only buying Miel or Tabitha Brown or Taraji P. Henson's products. I mean, I go to that section specifically to just grab my items and go. Mm-hmm. And Target was one of the only stores outside of Ulta where I could go and get those products. Tabitha
Brown ain't even Ulta, is she?
She is, but a lot of times her products are sold out because I think of the boycott, a lot of people have moved to just go to Ulta to get them. Yeah. But that particular day, I couldn't get the shampoo, I couldn't get the conditioner, I couldn't get the curling cream. And I needed it. I have natural hair, so, and I was going to work, and I didn't want to go to work looking crazy, so I just went to Target.
Otherwise, Target's
shit. How long are we supposed to boycott? How long does the boycott have a beginning and end date?
We boycott Target until the time that Target does what's right. See, Target is sitting here counting on Black people to give them more money and more resources and more economic prosperity because they offer you something.
But Black people are in Target. When I go, that's a lot of niggas in there. And they working too. I'm dead ass. I don't see nobody white in Target. All I see is Black people.
The topic of tonight's Royal Roast really should be Cedric.
Now I got donkey on his day.
But it will not be Cedric. Instead, Cedric will actually give the roast because he's a roasting expert. It is his talent. You read well. But who does not or who did not read well was Melania Trump.
Can Santa see in the dark? Does he wear night vision goggles that make everyone green?
When I saw it, I was a little bit shocked.
Oh, ice.
Melania Trump
Melania
Trump came to America on what's called a genius visa. Now, who brought her here? That's something you need to research in Google. But she came here on this visa, and she's been here for a number of years. But when I listen to footage of her from year one to year now, sounds very much the same. And the words in this children's book really were kicking her ass. But with that being said, Cedric, what did you think? And give us, again, tonight's Royal Roast.
Now, our tight-faced first lady is supposed to be pentalingual. I don't even think she's single-lingual because she can't even say one word right. She was reading it. I'm watching it. She's struggling. I'm trying to help her. You know how you mouthing words while somebody read because you're trying to help them. It didn't work. She still couldn't get it right. I think she messed up a color. It's just, stupid is and stupid does. Her husband's a dumb ass. Why wouldn't she be one? And it was really unfortunate to watch those kids have to go through that. That's what we should really be creating laws about is bitches who can't read.
And how it impacts young people.
There you go.
I kind of am inclined to agree. And at least I would have liked for her to show the pictures of the freaking book to the kids because that's what makes her read aloud.
Do you think she's ever read a book to a kid?
She has, how many kids does she have?
She has one son. She only has one child that we know of.
She is
that's enough.
There are accusations out there.
You smarter than a fifth grader.
Having a kid doesn't mean you've ever read to a kid. Having a kid doesn't mean you've ever done anything for a kid.
Speaks to
Melania probably ain't did nothing with a child.
I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not a billionaire or whatever they call themselves. Like when Melania and DJT don't strike me as hands-on parents. And the idea that they sent her to a. But again, and I will continue to go back to this. The fact that Melania can't read or whatever her reading ability is just another example of how they are trying to send us scattered so that we are focused on all these smaller issues instead of the bigger issues that are impacting the huge swaths of our country. And Melania is a great example of that. We could not do that if it was Ivanka and Jared because they can read. We wouldn't be having this conversation if they sent Ivanka into a school to read. We wouldn't be having this conversation. We would if it was Eric or Don Jr. But they sent Ivanka because they knew it was going to be a big enough distraction and get headlines talking about how the first lady can't read and then galvanize the base because she's our first lady. And then next thing you know, we're having this conversation as four kings instead of talking about bigger issues. I think that's exactly what this administration does so well is send us all scattered in different directions so where we are all scrambling like a bag of cats.
But in real life, are the people you guys connected to scrambling? Because my people ain't scrambling. My people seem all right.
The people that you talk to are shopping at Target every day.
I wouldn't say that any
My
one of our
goodness.
groups are scrambling, but I would wager that if we talk to your friend circle and your friend circle and my friend circle and your friend circle about what is the most important thing happening in our country, we probably have 4 different answers.
100%.
And that, to a degree, is the scramble that I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
And I would wager that all of these things are probably important, whatever we would say.
Yeah.
But the fact that we are 4 Black people, presumably queer identified, presumably of a certain age range, and we cannot all agree on what the number one issue is in our country, that sends us off in a different direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then to people who are not nearly as literate or not nearly as well spoken or well read as we are, they're talking about the fact that Melania can't read. They're talking about DJT, the parks. They're talking about all these other issues when there are bigger fish to fry.
So what's the bigger fish? Like, let's open the floor very briefly before
Well, that's
we
what
go
he
ahead
just
and
said.
give
We
out the
can't
queen and
decide
crown.
what it is.
But what are the bigger issues that we should be focused on as a community? What are the bigger issues?
My problem has always been ICE. I can't tell you how uneasy it makes me
Every day.
to have a father who has a Black father with a strong accent and a funny name walking around these streets in the United States of America in a deeply red state as if everything is okay, when just miles away from his home there are ICE raids happening.
Yeah, that is.
People are being deported to countries they don't even belong to.
That's a major issue. And
But
that
I wouldn't
is
say
one
that.
way.
But I wouldn't say that there is a common thread that would link you to that issue the same way it would link me.
It wouldn't be the same way, but it links me. I'm linked to the
I mean, I think we're all inadvertently
that is a
linked.
major
Yeah.
concern. It's a major issue for me. That's why. Yeah, I would have to say that it's my probably second most urgent issue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, other issues that we would say would take precedence. I would say hands down, this is going to be. I argue that while Cedric says that we're not scrambling like the cats in the bag, I think that we are. You just don't want to accept it. You look at the fact that you can go to the grocery store and buy your grocery as not scrambling in the bag. You're not looking to the fact of a year ago you would go to the grocery store and you would pay significantly less money and have way more money in your pocket to do what you wanted to do. Because your grocery bill has increased significantly under Trump because of his tariffs and because of his actions. The quality of what you eat every day has dropped significantly because of his tariffs and his actions. Campbell Soup, a reputable household brand name, is now serving you meat products.
Y'all should have been
You
there.
can't go to the grocery store and pick up a Rolo, a pack of Rolos, it's a candy,
It's
or a
like
Hershey
chocolate
bar,
candy with a caramel
but it's
on
not
top.
chocolate. There is no more chocolate in the Rolo. There is no more chocolate in the Hershey bar. Maybe it's not the Hershey. I don't want to get sued. I know for a damn fact it's the damn Rolo.
Allegedly.
It is not alleged that the Rolo now uses chocolate flavoring instead of chocolate because chocolate is too expensive. They're cutting costs. These things are happening every day and people are getting away with it because of the deregulation that mandated certain things from the FDA, all done by the Trump administration. So these things are subtle and they're small, but once things change, once prices goes up, they're not going down.
But
Because
yes.
you're going to buy it. My
What-
coffee used to cost $3.49 for my Cafe Bustelo, and now my coffee is $7.98 in a year.
That sucks.
I'm a cat scrambling in the bag. Can I afford it? I can. But should I be affording it? No.
Right.
And neither should any other American based upon these fucked up tariffs and high inflation costs. We're all scrambling.
Yeah.
So what can we do though? I mean, other than just keep moving.
We
That's
can
the thing.
boycott, we can divest, and we can raise our voices about it. And we work in unified collective action.
But we're not.
But you're not. You're not. Had every single American
we're not.
every single American who has been affected by the affordability crisis that was manufactured by the Trump administration boycotted for just 4 days, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Sunday,
Are we
and then
going back to
Cyber Monday,
this? We gotta talk about this again.
we would have had a significant, immediate impact to show the economy and show that the American people have had enough and they're fighting back.
I've already gave you my stance
At
on that.
some point, we've got to do it.
I'm not.
I don't want to rehash it. I'm just saying
Okay.
at some point, we got to do it.
Okay, yes. But what I'm saying is this, right? Is that I know that there's all of this upset. And it's not that I'm ignorant to the fact that there's upset. But what I'm saying is that I choose not to live in the upset. There's enough things to upset me every fucking day. Enough. Right? but what good does it do for me, right? And I think we don't talk, like, when we think about all of these things that are going on, we got to really think about the implications that it has on us mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of these things, right? Because I can't just take on I can't take on the boycott. I can't take on the LGBTQ attacks and trans rights attacks, and then racism, and then navigating politics in corporate America, and then the Islamophobia, and then, like, it's just too damn much. So I got to pick and fucking choose what I'm going to care about.
So what do you pick?
What do I pick to care about?
What do you pick?
My damn self. Shit.
Okay. And that's fine. We respect it.
You know, you really do, Zach. I mean, because I gotta be the change I want to see. And I may not boycott. And that may not be the change I want to see. But when I'm in these spaces, right, as a technical recruiter, do I take the extra initiative? And do I fight inside the boardroom for people like me to be in those spaces? Yes. Maybe that's my contribution. What I'm saying is that I don't want to go down the laundry list of good deeds that I do to prove that I care. But I think that if we all lean in, even if it's not under one unified effort, but if we're all leaning in to represent each other in some way, as Maya Angelou said, I come as one, I stand as 10,000, then there will be a change that we can see.
If you believe that, then I respect.
I just think you have to think about a different way of doing
it. I think that this dialogue is touching on a bigger issue. Is that there are a lot of people like you, Doc, who are very, very well informed about myriad issues that are happening in our country. Then there are others like me who are not nearly as informed and still care. But I don't think that it does anybody any favors for someone like you or I to have to prove that we care because we're not as emphatic or as enthusiastic as you.
No, as long as you believe it for yourself. Let me clarify. Cedric doesn't need to prove anything to me. I just want him to know it for himself. And as long as you know it for yourself, as long as you are the one
saying it for myself, Malcolm X.
Yeah, as long as you know it for yourself, that's all that matters. And I'm going to give pushback because that's one, the examined heart is a heart that's worth having.
No, but that's valuable though. I mean, we need people like Zach, right, to really be a voice. Educate us on the things that we don't know.
I judge.
We know.
What is the phrase? Something don't judge. What is that phrase they say?
Listen, we don't judge.
I listen and I judge, and that's just gonna be
as
there.
You should.
Yeah,
and I do too.
Yeah, I'm an ENTJ, and the J. That's what we do. That's my personality. ENTJ. So the last thing that we do is go to J Malik. We every episode ends with giving a queen a crown. We're giving a queen a crown tonight.
To Ashley Allison.
Ashley Allison, you may know her from CNN, but we now recognize her
for being the owner of The Root. It's has been through multiple phases of ownership, but she has bought The Root through. I think not only does the ownership of it kind of make her really worthy of the crown, but also that she's creating a model and an example for Black people, right? Black girls and Black boys to know that ownership should be our focus, and to impact in a media space is also more and more critical. So it's my honor to give her the crown.
We love Ashley. When you need a financial expert on The Root, Malik is ready to go. With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for episode 2 of The Kings and the Table. We are still in our soft launch. Any feedback that you have for us to make this show even better, please let us know. We are filmed right here at the Atlanta Voice Podcast Studio, a great space to use and for your podcasting needs. And are super happy and super thankful to our production company, Create Studios. Check them out. They're here also based in Atlanta. They do great work. With that being said, we'll see you soon.
I have some feedback for you, Zach. Where them damn clips at from last